red corner, JT Taylor. He's a blue belt under Matt Kelly and Julian Banner out of Bolt, BJJ in Morton, Pennsylvania. He is a former D1 football player. How impressive is that? And in the blue corner, we have Cade Berardelli. Okay, I didn't get to talk to Cade. Let's see what information. He's only 19 years old. He is a blue belt. Let's see what he's got here, and they're right to it.
And we immediately have JT pulling guard here, and immediately starting things off with like a big push.
I would say that makes sense for JT because if he did his homework, Cade has been wrestling for 10 years. And you can tell he's coming at it very, very aggressive, as wrestlers are for sure. Cade in the blue on the top here, JT on the bottom in the skilled violence rash guard.
Now, as a former D1 football player, I expect to see a lot of physicality out of JT Taylor. To play football at that level, you have to be a physical specimen. I'm interested to see the type of scrambles we get into here.
Oh, very nice
trip.
Sweep, and he'll put Cade right against the wall, but right back is Cade to wrestling, that mentality. But JT with a great resume of his own as well, number 6 ranked in the 205-pound finishers promotion. So these guys have some really impressive resumes.
Yeah, and this is a good spot for JT to be in terms of he's going to have to want to walk around. He's got to be careful, though, with a high-caliber wrestler, even having them down on their knees like this. If your legs are in front of them, they will grab onto something. They will explode out. They can potentially hit switches and come around to your back. So JT's got to be really mindful of this and try and control the head and pull down. And, yep, there you go.
Very nice. And JT back to the bottom. Cade looking at like blast pass here, but JT with great guard retention. Only a minute and 21 seconds in, and it feels like we've already had a full match.
Yeah, and you can see from Cade's footwork, the way that he's hand fighting and his passes, he looks and moves like a wrestler. But JT's doing a good job here and potentially getting in on a leg. It looks like he's going to try. So what he needs to do is he needs to get some separation. He needs to push Cade away and try and lock up a leg here. Oh, right back in on an arm.
Wow. Nice. Cade did the right thing. Cade did the right thing there. Stayed heavy on his hips.
And this is pressure from bottom that JT is putting on. He is putting on an immense amount of pressure with his attacks from bottom, whether he's threatening sweeps, wrestle-ups, submissions, leg locks. He is all over trying to throw everything he's got at Cade, and that's what we love to see here on Arena.
I'd like to see Cade put a little more pressure on JT. I know JT is throwing some submission attempts up. Oh, and here we go.
Potential hit. Oh, toe hold there.
Definitely looking for a toe hold.
Oh, now he's looking for a heel hook.
JT very tight in on the knee here. Cade looking to his corner to get some advice on what to do here. He's in definite danger with that tight knee line being very locked up here. And JT looking to belly down, but we'll lose the knee line and Cade will come up. Wow,
how impressive is that?
So we do not have a live audience here. We only have competitors and coaches, and everyone is on their feet right now looking at this match because these
scrambles are incredible, and you're seeing the physicality from JT. The way he wrestled up after Cade got the.
Reminder from the audience, please, to only have coaches coaching. JT in the bottom, and Cade with the smother on the top here.
That's a little MMA.
I've seen you do that one a few times out here.
Yeah, that's
Someone give me some credit here. I saw Dave Romano do it, and I was like, I'm going to do it.
I know, I'm sitting next to two really dangerous smother people over here. I might have to scoot away.
The smother is a investment into the further rounds, right? You want to cut that, disrupt the breathing of your opponent.
Absolutely. Oh, and JT doing it back on the bottom here, smothering the top. I love it. I love a good smother.
I cannot believe that we still have over a minute left in this round. This has been complete fire from start to finish.
Now, I almost feel like
the push away, and a little bit of jiu-jitsu, a little bit of Muay Thai. I love it.
See JT fading a little bit in the first round. I think he did a lot of explosive movements, and Cade is trying to push him with that wrestling mentality. Oh, there's an eye poke.
We're going to have an issue with the eye here.
I think we're going to a timeout for an eye poke.
Commentary has 3:58.
Cade is good, and he's going to push through.
Dave, you said?
Looks like
announce no coaching, right?
Looks like we're getting back to the action here in a second. Potential eye poke. Our ref is going to move them back out to the center to make sure that we're in. And we're going to start off So this is one of the few times that you'll see in under arena that we have to restart a match, and what we're doing is our referee Tirsa started them off in bottom butterfly guard with underhooks as a semi-neutral position to restart.
And just a minute left here, so he has about 45 seconds to work, but I'd say the bottom butterfly is an advantageous position to get to the legs, and that's what we're looking at, right into honey hole almost, if he threads better. And he's tight in on that knee again, is JT. Cade again looking to his corner for some advice.
We've got 30 seconds here, and this is dangerous. He's got a bite on the heel. Looks like JT's, Cade doing a good job at turning his heel away.
The one thing Cade is not doing, though, is taking his left leg over his right. So really, his right leg could be in danger. Now he's doing it. So we're in a little bit better of a position.
Time. Wow, what?
That was an extremely exciting round. I'm excited to see what happens in round 2 and 3 here.
Only coaches can be coaching the match, and everybody else can stay stepping aside. Once again, only coaches can coach the match. Thank you.
Now we're saying JT go for
I said Dave a million times, I apologize.
We're seeing JT go for this leg game right off the bat, right? But the wrestling hips of Cade is kind of preventing him from getting deep in on that leg. Cade's doing a really good job of keeping his hips back and not allowing him to get, a good grip on his legs. But we'll see how this plays out into the later rounds.
I don't know if we've actually mentioned this yet, but Cade has actually only been doing jiu-jitsu for 8 months. So that's pretty impressive to have the IQ to be able to get out of some of those really deep leg lock submissions.
Yeah, that's typically one of the biggest weaknesses of wrestlers as they come into jiu-jitsu, is specifically those leg entanglements, and a lot of times it can take years to get proficient at defending those, but it's nice to see. But JT's trying the same thing. He's getting really good elevation with those butterfly hooks, and he's trying to get into honey hole from there, and he's doing the same thing here, potentially threatening a quick Choi bar from there.
So far, it seems like we're seeing in fast pace the same thing we did as round 1. Cade seems like he is very comfortable, obviously, on the top, knee cutting, and JT on the bottom looking for legs, which I think is really the way to submit Cade, because I don't foresee JT being able to play the top, especially against a wrestler.
Potential armbar here, though. Triangle armbar. He should be breaking the posture down now, and what he should be trying to do is focusing on locking up that triangle, right? The armbar threat is real here, but the triangle gives control, and see, Cade's able to peel that away.
Nice defense by JT to not let him pass off of that attempt.
JT looking really comfortable in a seated guard here, staying nice and tight with his elbows and knees connected. Cade looking to battle past that. I think he's trying to figure out how he's going to really, is he going to be able to go through? Is he going to go around? Hard guard to pass for sure.
Yeah, it can be tough, especially at this weight class when you've got guys with really long limbs and especially long legs who have good hip flexibility. Despite having really good wrestling and good passing, JT's able to mount offense from so far away that it really keeps Cade on his back foot before he can even kind of start his own knee-cutting offenses or initiating different passing sequences.
Yeah, for sure. And it looks like they're slowing down just a little bit. JT's attempt at the dummy sweep. That was a good thought, especially with Cade standing right in front of him there. And Cade will circle.
Now we can start to see that the high pace of this match is starting to wear both competitors down. I think we've seen this match start to slow down now that we're about 7 minutes into the match as a whole. You can see that the pace for both competitors has slowed just a little bit.
I'm wondering if this is going to be the first match that we see go the distance. A lot of back and forth from both competitors. Seems like a pretty equal matchup, so I'm curious to see how far we'll get into this matchup.
I see Cade almost like attempting to leap into that knee slice pass. I almost feel like he needs to control JT a little bit more before he attempts it. The upper body of JT, right? Because when he's trying to dive through into that knee slice pass, JT's upper body, his hips are able to scoot back, and he's able to defend really well, right? But if Cade were to control the upper body of JT, he might be able to get his legs past the half guard. We're just not seeing that. That might be, the lack of experience right now here, but it still makes for an exciting match.
I agree. I think what we're seeing is Cade also is only attempting to pass to the right side, so I think this does come with that experience. One more warning for no coaching. Otherwise, I think that we should stay out of the rest of the match.
We got the competitors talking to one another. You hear Cade out there saying, "I'm not getting tired," but it's going to be tough for him to really initiate those passing sequences when he's so far away. And just like you were saying, like he's trying those shooting knee slices, but there's so much distance. He has to start them from so far away.
It's
really
have to
tough.
have control of the upper body, the head, the neck, the arm, an underhook on the arm in order to get that pass. And right now, especially with somebody so defensively sound as JT, you're going to have more control over it.
Absolutely. I think the way to go here is to try to get close and pressure in, because JT's guard is going to be too good to quick pass. So he needs to look away to take away that space on the top. And JT will find himself in a closed guard with less than a minute left.
Great control with JT's legs. He does a really good job of using his legs in these transitions and scrambles and whatnot. We have double unders.
Double unders is a good position to be in too, especially if you could use it to get Cade a little bit closer to the cage with the last 30 seconds. Looked like he tried to swing for an armbar there, but Cade keeping good posture.
Yeah, those double unders can be great, especially as your opponent is trying to push everything into you to try and break away and get their posture back. Being able to swing underneath for like a quick, flower sweep, elevator sweep, armbar, which is exactly what JT was trying there, and that was he almost caught Cade by surprise.
This is going to be the first matchup that we see no submissions in rounds 1 or 2. So just as a reminder, if there's a submission in round 3, that person will win the entire match. If there's no submission in round 3, then they'll be going to an unlimited overtime. And I have a feeling, I don't know, I'm a little nervous. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I'm really interested to see how it goes, and I have a feeling that the ref is going to be starting to make some more stalling calls if we end up with another match that's with another round that's similar to how that one played out. I could see the ref starting to call stalling calls on one or both competitors, because we reached a point where we had about 3 minutes of solid stalemate there with Cade just trying to pass from distance and JT trying to just counter.
Cade looks like he's talking himself up in his head, so I think maybe we'll see a change of pace, but still JT on the bottom, Cade on the top. We're going to start with the same setup as before. JT more than comfortable playing supine guard here, even looking to potentially invert. And Cade will go north-south, saw the opportunity, and
If JT can put his hooks in, that was good. If JT was able to get those hooks in, he actually could climb and come all the way out and be on Cade's back, which is always one of those impressive things to see. I like the switch up.
Absolutely. Again, it comes down to that fight IQ with the experience. Once you get north-south, you have to be able to control the hips. And I think JT realizes what Cade may or may not know, and that he was able to spin right out of that. He'll go right back into that attempt at a knee cut pass, but will not be able to pass, unfortunately.
I feel like JT is really wise to that knee slice pass that Cade is attempting. Cade might have had success in that in his training or in prior matches, but it's just not working against JT. I think he's going to have to try to mix it up a little bit and take a different trick out of the box. And here he goes, he's attempting a double underpass. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's what he needs to attempt. Something different. Even if he goes back to, the knee slice, maybe fake it out with something before he goes to it, just so it's not so predictable.
Absolutely. It looks like he had a thought of those double unders, and that's not a terrible idea, especially if JT is looking to straighten his legs out. He could really even just climb up the legs.
Oh, here we go.
JT using the dummy sweep to get in on the legs. Very smart. Good elevation by JT. And a roll through.
What a scramble.
JT more than comfortable also grabbing his legs, which is something you don't see very often, but I know Ellis Karadag comes out of vault. That's where JT is, and Ellis is notorious for what he calls the egg guard, and I'd say JT kind of looks similar to playing that in this moment here. JT with 2 inside leg hooks here. I think he's looking to elevate, hopefully potentially again.
Cade's backing up, though, and keeping some space, so it's going to be tough for JT to really get any elevation now that Cade is essentially backed out. I like the fact that we're seeing both competitors change it up, but you can see that JT really respects Cade's top pressure, because he noticed he started this round off by just immediately giving him north-south and trying to, do some different fancy inverting, but.
That thing about that knee cut, though, is he really is almost in a false reap. I heard the audience
Troy
say
bar.
the same thing. Oh, almost.
That was close. He had that.
Cade bringing his knee in with JT's actual foot in front is not an optimal idea, because JT could always thread his leg over for a leg lock. So I'm not sure if he quite sees that. Cade maybe potentially thinking the body lock, but doesn't have arms connected. So JT could elevate him here with some good butterfly hooks.
Yeah, and we've seen that a couple times. He's able to get really good elevation, but you can see those wrestling hips right there from Cade. JT had really good extension there on that butterfly sweep, but Cade just able to keep his hips turned flat to the mat and stay on top with his knees.
Now, JT's attempting these butterfly sweeps quite a bit. I'm not sure if he's trying to just create space or trying to gain top control. And I would like to see him maybe in the next round go out and try to wrestle a little bit and maybe try to get top position on Cade. I think that would be, he might surprise himself and realize that he has a strength there. And Cade, who knows, Cade might surprise himself and end up having, a better bottom game. A lot of times that happens sometimes, when these guys are so used to playing one position or the other, and I ran into that before in my last match where I'm very comfortable passing from that position and the other guy is very comfortable being on his back, and the next thing you know, you're in this game of you're both trying to do this, play your game, but you're both good at the same game. So it would be nice to see one of them switch up and maybe find a weakness in their opponent.
Absolutely, and I think wrestling in general and wrestling for jiu-jitsu, they're different. So I agree. If JT does stay on his feet a little longer, there could be a change. I mean, sometimes when wrestlers shoot, they don't shoot for jiu-jitsu wrestling, and then there's thoughts at like chokes and guillotines. So.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting points of the match was it came in round one when JT started to initiate a sweep and came up with that headlock control and started working to potentially spin around to the back. And we could see Cade did not want any of that and was trying to just push and escape out and stand up. So it could be in JT's favor to try and focus on sweeps and just getting on top and then working his submissions from there.
JT looks strong there. I'd like to see him go back to the the wrestling.
I agree. I think we're going to overtime here. We have less than 15 seconds, so they're going to be needing an unlimited overtime in a very short period here.
Yeah, so this is our first unlimited overtime of the night, as long as there's no sub here in the next few seconds. And just a reminder for all of our viewers, this unlimited overtime, it is going to start, and these competitors are going to go until there's a submission. So you're going to start to see both competitors have to start change up their tactics. We've spent 15 minutes of a very similar game that both competitors have been playing with no sub, and the only way that these cage doors get open and one of them walks out of here is with a sub. So you're going to see they're going to have to start making some changes and making some adjustments and trying some new things, because there has to be a sub no matter what, and that's why arena grappling is submission grappling's true definitive match type.
Hey, and both of these competitors are in phenomenal shape, right? So we might be in for the long haul here. I hate to say it, but
absolutely. This is our fourth series with arena grappling, and I don't really think we've seen a lot of overtime. So I'm curious how long we're going to be here for this match, and I'm hoping that it's not too long.
Yeah, I know that since Droogs has started hosting Arena, there has not been an overtime that's gone longer than a round. We haven't had a single match last longer than 20 minutes. I think the record is like 19 minutes and 30 seconds right now since we moved locations to this cage. So I'm really interested to see if this match will beat that record, or if we're going to stay within that, within that realm of that fourth round lasting less than 5 minutes.
Looks like JT did not hear Dave's advice, though. He is more than confident being, again, back on the bottom, seated in supine guard. Cade looking to reach forward. He has to be careful reaching those arms, even with the 2-on-1, because JT's got long legs, and he can definitely throw up something there. Back to the dummy sweep, an attempt at a leg entry. Good thought.
yeah, you can tell JT has had success in that position before.
Oh, but here's right into a leg entanglement here. He's not into a full honey hole, but he has a potential knee bar here. JT does. What he needs to do is he needs to start turning, and he cannot let Cade come up on top. He's going to have to swing his leg inside. And with a toe hold.
With a toe hold in the fourth round. Impressive. Very nice.
With a toe hold. So we keep the record. That fourth round was a little bit over a minute. and we got our definitive winner with JT by toe hold from essentially almost a donkey mount.
That was a great matchup, and that toe hold came off of, Cade giving it his all, trying to jump over for an armbar. So, hey, I'm a fan. They put it all on the line. Both guys looked great. I'm excited to talk to JT and hopefully see Cade back on the card in the future.
I think he watched your last match, Dave. That's the exact armbar that won you submission of the night in our last card. Hello.
JT Taylor, what's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey. You put on quite a show out there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Work
so...
on my leg injuries.
No, that was...
Athletic freak.
That was great. I mean, you had a couple real close ones, especially in round 1 and 2 and 3. But that toe hold in round 4 obviously sealed the deal for you.
Yes.
What do you think of this format with the best of 3, best of 4
I love it.
submission?
It's like submission on the ground on steroids. For real, that's serious. And it forces you to get more experience in there. Like my coach told me, you're playing bottom game. There's no top. Because I typically play top. Just watch me on Instagram. But really working on my bottom game to evolve my game, especially climbing the ranks, facing better people. You can't just be one-dimensional. So
that's awesome.
How did you feel going into the 4th round? You guys are our first group of people coming into overtime.
I feel like Kyle Chambers and Isaac Michelle.
That's awesome. I love
right?
that.
That's a good comparison.
I'm glad it didn't go that long.
No,
though.
me either. Nah, he's just tough and knowing he's an MMA guy. Jiu-jitsu guys, no offense to us, but our top pressure isn't like UFC guys. We're very flowy. So I'm trying to force myself to play against a lot of people who are athletically awesome, but also know their stuff, excuse me, you know what I mean? So instead of just facing guys who may be fundamentally sound, but they lack the athletic ability, when you get to the levels, you got to face the best of the best, and they're athletic, and they know jiu-jitsu, clearly. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And we saw going into the 4th round, I mean, you're barely out of breath.
No, I wasn't tired. I was playing bottom.
Did you do something differently to prepare for this than you normally would, or is this just because you knew that this format that you were going to be coming into a 15-minute match, was there something different you did in your game leading up to this?
It's working bottom, because in this format, a lot of people want to come in and wrestle because there's a cage there. We're still doing jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? They can't get that confused. So wearing and tearing on people and just grinding them out, get that mat time, and then to solidify things. To skill with the sole entry, I was working that all match, but I forced the heel hook to the ankle lock, and I knew come the overtime rounds, the toe hold would be there.
So can we expect to see you back on arena grappling in the future?
Duh. But next
Congrats.
time, tell my opponent I'm going to play top game because I don't like bottom game. So definitely.